Hi, I'm doing another video. This time I'm not going live because I don't want to have to worry about my service cutting out, and I wanted to get everything in there, keep my focus. But I wanted to talk a little bit deeper into the toxin issue and what it does to the body. Um, Part of the true cellular detox, there's the 5 R's, and the first one's removing the source. But one of them is reducing inflammation, and another is reestablishing methylation, which is the detoxification process. Um, I know I've mentioned before, and I've in my search for what was wrong with me, I stumbled across the MTHFR genetic SNPs. And what that is, some people have these defects basically in their DNA. Their methylation process does not work as well as it should. So, depending on, and this is all, it's very scientific, and there's codes and names for each one, and you can have one from one parent and one from another, or two from, it's very confusing. But basically, it slows down the methylation in the body, and therefore the toxins aren't cleared out as quickly. I believe, just on based on what I've read, and knowing that it runs in my family, and I have a nephew who is autistic. My son had problems at birth also, just lots of different things. The brain disease that my father had and eventually passed away from. I believe that it's probably a big cause of a lot of these issues, because the toxic load, which can be brought into effect depending on what you're born with. And then if you have that genetic SNP and then you are exposed to chemicals, you're less likely to be able to get them out of the body as someone that, doesn't have them. So I think it's definitely related. And whether or not you have it or not, you still can increase that methylation and avoid those toxins and heal the body. Um, but let's get back to the cellular inflammation. Cellular inflammation, people think when you say inflammation, oh yeah, I've got arthritis and my joints hurt or things like that. And it's not just things like that. It's body wide, cellular level wide. Diabetics don't die from diabetes. 50% of them die from dementia or Alzheimer's disease, and it's due to the oxidation from the inflammation, the oxidation and the inflammation working together, which in turn is caused by uncontrolled glucose and insulin levels. It's those rises and crashes and just the out of control glucose levels, which is, and this is so different than what you'll hear, but you're supposed to eat those good healthy grains, have that bowl of oatmeal in the morning, your whole wheat toast, that sort of thing. But if there's inflammation in the body, things like that will actually make it worse because they're creating that glucose insulin spike. Two pieces of whole wheat bread is actually equivalent to, I think it's a 12-ounce soda as far as spiking the sugar levels. So you think you're doing something healthy, having a bowl of oatmeal in the morning, or 2 pieces of whole wheat bread, but you could have just drank a soda as far as your insulin levels go, and your glucose. So grains, not sugar, are the main contributor to the elevated glucose levels. So I'm not saying sugar's okay, but I'm just saying, even if you cut all the sugar out and you're still having these carbs that are basically spiking your sugar, it's going to be hard to get rid of the inflammation because that's contributing to it. Um, another one of the R's in the cellular detox is the reestablishing methylation. I'm going to tell you, um, I know that mine was messed up, and I've tried taking other supplements. I've taken glutathione because that's, the liver produces glutathione on its own, and if you're highly toxic, then, and our environment is highly toxic, then those levels can't keep up with what the toxin load the body is exposed to. But mercury fillings, mold, Lyme disease, even I thought I was okay because I didn't have any mercury fillings. So I thought, oh, I'm good. I don't have any mercury fillings. At least that part is good. But if you've had your wisdom teeth removed, there's what they call cavitations, which can be there could be an underlying infection in that cavity all the time, which can lead to inflammation and can make you sick. Who knew? That was news to me, and I was like, oh, dang it, I thought I was good, but now I've got that to worry about. But then you have the chemicals in all of our personal care products. One of the first things when I went through this kind of healthy cleanse and started detoxing my life was deodorant, because deodorant has aluminum in it. Then it was my toothpaste. I changed out to a fluoride-free toothpaste, and then I slowly phased out the sodium lauryl sulfate that was in them, and finally found some healthy brands. Shampoos, soaps, things like that. There's chemicals. You can go on the environmentalworkinggroup.com, I think it's EWG.com, and you can look for products out there that are low on the toxin level and kind of decide from there which ones you can use to cut those toxins out. Problem being with those kind of toxins and any of the other ones that I listed, they're hormone disruptors. So if they're disrupting your hormones, they're creating chaos in the body, they're creating inflammation, they're creating all these other diseases. It's all connected. It's kind of like I've had like a revelation on the health, because, and it's funny because I think Dr. Pompa's organization name is Revelation Health, and that's exactly how I feel. I feel like it's been a revelation to me that it is all connected. You can't change one thing and swap it out and expect to get well, because everything is connected. We are all connected. Everything's connected. What we put in our bodies is connected to the problems we're having, and we're so quick to say, oh, well, I have thyroid disease and I'm going to go to the doctor and I'm going to get a pill to fix it. But that's just masking the problem. That's not fixing the problem. These prescription drugs that are being passed out and doled out and making big pharma wealthy and in control of what's going on everywhere else, it's just masking the problem. There is a reason, there is a source, and you got to get to the bottom of it to get well, because you're never going to get well. What you're going to do is you're going to take a prescription, and you're going to end up with side effects that create other problems, and then you're going to find another prescription to mask those problems, and you're just going to completely keep trying to tell your body, be quiet, act like you're okay, when it's really not okay, because your body, those symptoms are saying, hey, there's a problem, you need to fix it, you need to change something. So inflammation can actually change gene expression, epigenetics. It can turn on the bad genes that you have in your DNA. So if you have family members who have cancer, who have type 2 diabetes, any of these, chronic conditions, and they're in your hereditary line, they don't necessarily have to be turned on. They're turned on by these other things that are brought into the body. So it's the stress, it's the physical stress, it's the chemical stress, the mental stress, all of it affects the way your body will express these genes. So they don't necessarily have to be turned on. There was a study done by Duke University on mice, and they had twin mice, and they had these two groups of the twins, and one group of twins, they fed them both the exact same diet, exercise was the same, everything was the same, except for it exposed them to BPA, which is lining the aluminum cans. It's the plastic, but it's in everything. And they finally have come out, and are saying, yes, it's bad, but it's still in things, and it's been in things for years. So these mice, I think it was mice, that they gave the levels that were equivalent to what, based on their size and weight, what a human would be exposed to. They actually had these genes turned on that made them overweight, that made their fur rough and turn yellow. And the funny thing is, not so funny, but the generation after them and the generation after them, without being exposed to that toxin, to the BPA, still had that gene turned on. So the gene was turned on by the parent rat, and it was passed down to generations. So this is the problem with not methylating correctly. And we can turn off those genes. We can fix it. And there's actually a product, and I'm still learning, I'm still studying and learning all of these supplements that are in the True Cellular Detox, but there is one supplement in there in particular, and it's something to do with the methyl groups. I'm trying to think what the name of it is. But these genes were turned on in the mice because their methyl groups were depleted. And there's this supplement that comes with the True Cellular Detox called MORS, M-O-R-S, and it actually turns back on. It will turn those genes off, the bad genes that you have. So there's been a lot of science that's gone into the back behind these supplements. It's not. They each one is working together to heal the body, and it's very important. Like I said in I think maybe my first or my second video, I said that I probably could go find all of these supplements. I could have maybe tried to copy and find some of the supplements, but there's so much science behind it, and I'm not a doctor and I'm not a scientist, that I would not have been able to figure out all of them together that needed to be done, because it's such a delicate process. It has to be done correctly without making the body sick. And I mean, the way that the detox pathways work, you have to clear the body out before you go to the brain, the way they flow. So there's a lot of science in it. But I just wanted to share that story with you about the mice, because I thought it was just very interesting. It really stuck out to me that these genes can be turned on, not necessarily by what you've done to your body or what you've been exposed to, but it could have been something that your mother was exposed to. So we know that they've cleaned up lead, in the environment. They tried to get that out, but that doesn't mean that it hasn't been passed down to you. Not necessarily, and it's not just the toxins themselves that are being passed down. It's the genes, the epigenetics, turning on these bad genes that are being passed down too. So it's just extremely important to educate yourself on this, because I know me, you don't want to take blame, and you're like, hey, I'm doing everything right, or whatever, and you don't want to take responsibility. But once you look and you research and hey, that's bad for me, and this is what it's doing, you have a choice, and you can change that. And you can not only change it for yourself, but you can change it for your kids. And I mean, that's my biggest goal this year, is the things that I did to myself without knowing, because I was ignorant, and the things that I've given my kids, even as infants. I mean, I am horrified to even think that I ever nuked a baby bottle in a microwave. Just, terrified. And then giving soy formula and all the chemicals and crap that was in it. It's I wish I could go back in time, but I can't. But what I can do is offer that healing to my children, and that's my goal this year, is to give them the true cellular detox and get them well before they get to the point where they have chronic illness like I had. So thanks for joining me, and I'll keep sharing information as I learn it, and as something sticks out that I think is important. Thanks again, and have a great day.